Okay, good early Saturday morning, everybody. David Paul with you in the KHOU 11 Weather Center on an early Saturday morning where we got this line of thunderstorms coming through. This is going to go through all of southeast Texas here over the next hour or two. Multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. There's a new tornado warning that has been issued for northeastern Grimes County and the western edge of Walker County. That's going to be in effect until 3:15. We'll get to all of this here as we move along. You can see the line of thunderstorms pushing in from west to east, and there are a lot of straight line wind gusts in this 40 to 60 miles an hour west to east. That's the greatest threat within the yellow boxes with your severe thunderstorm warnings. But again, Doppler radar up here in northern Grimes County, and they're going to include western Walker County. That's because that's the way it's moving. Tornado warning until 3:15. Now, what we have is a little spot where there's a little kink in the straight line winds, and again, this is radar indicated. No report of a tornado on the ground here, but it looks like we may have a little bit of rotation sitting right in here west of Shiro, moving northeast at about 25 to 30 miles an hour, so it would graze up along the north side of Texas Highway 30, and if it holds together, perhaps move into western portions of Walker County, maybe just west of the town of Loma. So let's take a look at the Doppler part of this. Yeah, Doppler radar, this may have come and gone very quickly. These little couplets can come and go really, really quickly. But if they're, looking at this, if there is any type of rotation with this, it's going to be just to the southwest of Loma. Let me pause this right now. So there we are. Boy, it's tough. It's tough to see. If there is something here, it's very weak rotation. But something perhaps right in here, if I'm going to look at it, maybe there's a little rotation right along Texas Highway 30. Bottom line is, if you're watching us, you're here on Texas 30 between Loma and Singleton. Take cover in the first floor away from windows on the bottom floor of your home or business. That's the safest place to be. But looking at this, looking at the display here, just on radar, it doesn't look like there's a very strong couplet here. I don't see strong rotation being indicated. But for a moment there, we had a little burst of rotation, so Weather Office went ahead and issued a tornado warning. Radar indicated for northern eastern Grimes County and western portions of Walker County. Let me give you a bigger view of the whole Doppler. Yeah, and so there's what you're seeing right here. See the green, which really stretches from Katy all the way up through Cypress, Montgomery, and all the way up to just about all the way up to Loma. That's all straight line winds. That is a straight line wind signature. Yeah, see how this is all in a nice line right here, but maybe right in here, maybe there's a little spot here where there's a little kink in the line, and we could have had what we call a gust tornado, where they come and go very, very quickly. But again, the yellow box is severe thunderstorm warnings, and then this is the red area, a little spot up here where possibly a little radar indicated rotation. We could have a funnel cloud or an isolated tornado there in northeastern Grimes County and western Walker County, moving northeast at about 25 to 30. If you're near Loma, that's a spot where you want to take cover from that possible tornado. Again, radar indicated, but you see all the green here, that indicates straight line wind. So most of this is probably just straight line winds, but they could be gusting 40 to 60 miles an hour as the whole line races west to east at about 30 to 40 miles an hour. Again, here's the big picture. There's all the lightning and thunder with it. The yellow boxes are all severe thunderstorm warnings, and that is included now the western half of Harris County, Montgomery County. So from Katy to Spring to the Woodlands up to Conroe, you're included as that thunderstorm line is racing in your direction, and it's about to be a little loud with lightning and thunder coming across the area here over the next hour or so. A couple things you want to look at are lightning strikes. So they've come up. Last update, we had lightning strikes of about 300. There you saw it just update, total strikes 370. So that indicates more convection in the line, more up and down motion. It indicates a more energetic line of thunderstorms. That has a better chance of producing a wind gust 40 to 60 miles an hour. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust would be on the lower end of a severe thunderstorm. And that's why the warnings have been issued there for the western half. Everybody west of I-45 basically now under a severe thunderstorm warning for the next 45 minutes. And yeah, once again, that's the Doppler part, and it's all straight line wind damage moving in from the west, straight line wind potential. We take a look at future track. So between now and 5 o'clock, the line's going to push into the Houston area. Everybody along that line, you could see wind gusts, most likely straight line wind gusts of 40 to 60 miles an hour, along with brief heavy rain. We're getting about an inch of rain as that line moves through. By 6:30, the line is racing across Galveston Bay to the coast, up to Liberty, up to Livingston. So it'll go across both Lake Conroe and Lake Livingston in the next couple of hours. So you want to be off the lake as that line of storms comes through. You get over the open water, and that wind can accelerate and be much stronger than it is over land. And then that continues to race to the east. And so Saturday, we're going to get a break. That line of storms is going to settle down. It's going to wring out the atmosphere. We're going to end up having a nice middle of the day on Saturday. So Saturday noon, even into Saturday afternoon, looking really nice. Round 2 is brewing. There's a piece of upper level energy coming in on Saturday evening. So between 5 o'clock and 7:30, we're going to get more rain and thunder showers blossoming. And between 7:30 and 10, we kind of get another line of storms form. This will race toward the coast, push off the coast after midnight Saturday. So we're going to do this all over again late Saturday night. By about 1:30, it's raced off the coast. And by Sunday morning, it's beautiful, and Sunday is going to set up as a gorgeous day for us. Rain accumulation, we're still looking at rain totals coming down now and coming down late Friday night into early Saturday morning. That will be widespread 1 to 3. Some spots could see a 6-inch rain total as all this comes through. Once again, let's just go over the radar while I've got you here. Numerous severe thunderstorm warnings in effect as this line of thunderstorms pushes across the area. Straight line wind gusts, moderate straight line wind damage will be the greatest severe threat as we go through the rest of the overnight here. There's your thunderstorm watch, all the counties in yellow, which includes all of southeast Texas. And now it looks like we've got, okay, they're going to replace the current tornado warning with a new tornado warning. So we're talking about far edge of northern Grimes County. Looks like they're about to replace that with a new one. And let me just zoom out a little bit here. So here we go. It looks like what they're going to do, this is the original tornado warned area, which includes bead eyes. Looks like they're going to let that expire, and they're going to replace it with this one. So we may have a little bit of rotation there near bead eyes moving north toward Madisonville. Again, you want to make sure you're taking cover from this. Lowest floor of your home or business away from windows. We take a look at the Doppler part of Doppler radar. I'm going to try to get a better view. Yeah, it looks like for a little bit there, right in there, we had a little couplet right there for a moment south of Loma. We had a little couplet. Looks like it's come. That was back at 2:49. That was about 10 minutes ago. And we'll bring it up to the present. And it looks like that may have come and gone. Let me see if I can get another radar site to chime in up here for me. Yeah, there we go. So this is getting another radar site. Most of that looks straight line, but we are getting a little bit of a couplet right there, just to the north and west of Huntsville, northeast, far northeast corner of Grimes County. That's going to drift up toward Madisonville. So if you're near the Madisonville area, you want to go ahead and take cover. Make sure you're on the first floor of your home or business, away from windows. Interior room, interior hallway is the safest place to be when you've got a tornadic situation, because it's the flying glass. And also if you can get in a hallway in a small room like a bathroom, you get more of the structure, the frame of the house around you to protect you if you do get a tree coming down. A falling tree or a falling big tree branch or limb is by far the greatest threat, along with any type of broken glass that could be thrown about by the thunderstorm winds and the tornadic winds there. Again, let's go back to this. So here's the radar site again, and we'll put this in motion. And it's hard to see by just looking at the rain, but right in here near bead eyes, a little bit of rotation detected there right near FM 1696. All of that racing northeast very quickly at about 35 to 40 miles an hour. So that tornado warning will be in effect until 3:30 this morning as it lifts up out of Grimes County into southern portions of Houston County and up and toward Madisonville with thunderstorms. Looks like that thunderstorm is going to pass just south of Madisonville over the next hour or so. And let me walk you through.
Tornado warning for Northern Harris.
And we got a new one for Northern Harris.
Tornado warning.
Thank you. Chris Ramirez just coming in to help out. And this is a new tornado warning now in Northern Harris County. So this one just popping up here. You can see the heavy rain coming in. So this is going to be near the Cypress area right there at the corner of 99 and 290 out near Cypress. That's going to be just to the north of Coles Crossing, just north of Coles Crossing. If you're up in here, Northwest Harris County, Cypress area, 99 at 290, you want to take cover. Interior room of your home away from windows as Doppler radar has picked up another rotation there. And let's just put this up and see what the Doppler is showing here. Yeah, you know, boy, it looks like straight line. There may be a little bit of rotation watch right here. Yeah, we got a little bit of a couplet right there. So that is going to be, yeah, that's right near Cypress. So we can zoom right in on here. So again, tornado warning, Huffmeister Road at Spring Cypress Road, right here, Northwest Harris County. Again, here's 290, so it's just going to be north of 290. This is right in the Coles Crossing area. So right near Coles Crossing, you guys have an active tornado warning in effect for possible rotation. Again, this is radar indicated right near the Huffmeister area. And again, Doppler radar showing a little bit of rotation right there. So right over the Huffmeister area. So right in here, you want to take cover, interior room of your home, away from windows, lowest floor of your home. You want to get into a hallway or a bathroom. That's the safest place to be when we get tornadic thunderstorms. And once again, we're going to zoom in on this just a little bit tighter. So we're getting a little bit more. So there's Cypress Rose Hill. Here's Huffmeister Road. There's Skinner Road. Here's Barker Cypress. So this is just to the west of Coles Crossing, pushing toward the Coles Crossing neighborhood right now. Again, folks, this is a tornado warning that is in effect. This is going to be in effect probably till 3:45. Are we getting ready to transition to air?
Transition to air.
So just let me know when.
Fire in 3, 2, 1. On air.
Okay, good morning, everybody. David Paul with you in the KHOU 11 Weather Center. We've got a lot going on as a line of thunderstorms pushing into the southeast Texas area right now. Most of this is straight line wind damage potential with thunderstorm winds that could gust 40 to 60 miles an hour. But just in the last couple of minutes, a couple of tornado warnings have popped, and one has just gone active in north and west Harris County. So let me get right to that. Again, tornado warning now in effect for north and west Harris County, and that's going to be in effect until 3:45. So here's the tornado warning in effect till 3:30. So for about the next half hour, it's going to be northwest Harris County, where a thunderstorm right here near the Cypress area. This is just to the west of Coles Crossing, heading right toward Coles Crossing. That's where the radar's picked up rotation. So if you're out here in the Cypress area, again, here's 290. Here's the 99 connector, and this is where we're getting rotation just to the west of Coles Crossing, pushing toward the Coles Crossing area. You want to take cover on the first floor, the lowest floor of your home or business, away from windows as that storm pushes through. Again, this is radar indicated, so we haven't had any actual sighting of the storm, but the part of Doppler radar can see if there is rotation within the storm, and it's noticed some rotation. That's the type of storm that can drop a tornado with very little to no notice, and so that's why the tornado warning has been issued. Again, for right here, it's at the crux of the 99 connector, right where it makes the bend out on the northwest side, and then this is 290. So right in the heart of the Cypress area. Again, that's right near the Coles Crossing neighborhood. And what we can do is let's zoom in on that just a little bit more. And here we are. So up here toward Louetta, you've got Huffmeister Road here. Here's Barker Cypress at Huffmeister. That's right where we've got the potential rotation right here. Here's Telge Road. There's Rustling Glen Lane. And again, Huffmeister coming up. So that if you're in this area of Northwest Harris County, you want to take cover, interior room, away from windows, in a hallway or an interior closet is the safest place to be if you've got tornadic activity near you. Now, there is another spot with a tornado warning I don't want to forget about. Let me give you a quick update further up the line. This tornado warning in effect until 3:30 as well. So this is far northern Grimes County. So right in here, just north and east of Bead Eyes, we've picked up a rotation. Here's Highway 90. There's FM 1696. So right there at the crux of 90 and 1696, northeast Grimes County, that's moving up toward the Madisonville area. So folks in Madisonville, just to be safe, take cover, interior room, away from windows, and just move yourself into an interior hallway. That's the safest place to be. You get away from the exterior walls of your house in case a tree or a big limb were to come down with the winds. That's the best and easiest way to stay safe. So that's the tornado warning, northern Grimes County, moving out of Bead Eyes and toward Madisonville, in effect until 3:30 this morning. And then this tornado warning, just issued by the Weather Service, will be in effect until 3:30 in the morning. And it is for a potential rotation right here. So here's 290, there's the 99 connector. That is right near Coles Crossing, Huffmeister Road out here on the north side. And I want to go and look inside. This is the Doppler part of Doppler. There's the couplet. All right, there it is. Well, that is a new couplet. This one they may issue for here pretty quickly. This is not warned at the moment, but we're getting some pretty good rotation here. That's FM 1488, Research Forest Drive. So that's another spot where we're getting potential rotation just to the north of the active tornado warning, which I'll slide down to. And this now is where we're getting a little bit of rotation right in here. There may be a little couplet right here. So here's Telge Road, there's Spring Cypress. So 249, so neighborhoods, there's Coralville, there's Huffsmith, Coralville. Here's 249 in Northwest Harris County. Right in here, we've got a potential rotation, which again is radar indicated. The Doppler part of Doppler radar can see if there is rotation inside the storm. We've got rotation here racing east. So anybody, from Louetta up to Huffsmith, Coralville, 249 Northwest Harris County, take cover, interior room of your home, away from windows. You want to get away from exterior walls. What we're seeing here are probably, if it's producing a tornado, they're small tornadoes or perhaps even a funnel cloud, but those can reach down, knock off the top of a tree, lop off some big limbs. And so if you get away from those exterior walls and windows, you stay away from potentially the damaging glass and debris that can harm you. And so that's the active tornado warning. Again, we'll zoom out so you can see it outlined in red. And that includes a big part of the Cypress area, the heart of the Cypress area right here, all the way from Cypress to Cypresswood Drive, Spring right here. There's I-45 and the Hardy Toll Road split in the 99 connector. There's Bush at a Cut Middle Airport. It includes Bush as well. So everybody in this area, that tornadic thunderstorm is moving in your direction. So you see Spring Creek, Cypress Creek in here. There's Cypress Creek, there's Louetta, there's Cypresswood Drive, all the neighborhoods in here. You want to take cover, interior room of your home, away from windows is the safest place to be. And again, if there is rotation right here, there's the heart of the rotation. So here's 249, Spring Cypress at 249. Right there in the heart of the Cypress area, that's where we're seeing possible rotation that could produce a tornado. Briar Canyon Court, Lakewood Crossing Drive at 249. Stanford Oaks Drive just west of 249. All these neighborhoods up here in the heart of the Cypress area at 249, Cypress Creek area. Take cover, interior room of your home, away from windows. That's where the Doppler radar is suggesting we have enough rotation that could be producing a tornadic thunderstorm. So we'll zoom out, and again, what we're looking at here is the Doppler And you can see how everything about 30 minutes ago was nice and linear. And between then and we'll bring it up to the present, we've got a few kinks in the line. I can see a kink right there. That's a potential spot that could get warned, FM 149 north of Spring, getting up toward Montgomery County. That's the only other spot in question. This is right here where we've got some rotation detected as well. That's the one that's actively warned in the Cypress area, Cypress neighborhoods, Cypress area, 249 area, Northwest Harris County. You want to take cover in that area right now as a potentially tornadic thunderstorm is moving through North and West Harris County as we speak. Here's a bigger view of it. There's 249. So here's Beltway 8 on the northwest side. Here's the 99 connector up on the northwest side of Harris County. So 249 from Beltway 8 all the way up to 99, all the neighborhoods in here right along 249. This is where we have our potential rotation. So you want to take cover, interior room away from windows, avoid the broken glass and the tree limbs that could come down. That's the biggest threat. We go back to the radar and we'll put this in motion so you can see everything as it's coming across the area. The line of thunderstorms is racing to the east at about 35 to 40 miles an hour. And there you can see all the lightning involved in this. There's the active tornado warning for Northwest Harris County and the Cypress area. And this does include neighborhoods along I-45 and the Hardy Toll Road between the north side of the Beltway and the 99 connector. So all the way from Aldine to Spring, you're included in that tornado warning as the storm races east. It's pushing out of the Cypress area into the Spring area. Over the next few minutes, it's going to race to the east. The yellow boxes are active thunderstorm warnings. We're getting thunderstorm wind gusts 40 to 60 miles an hour. Anywhere from Huntsville to Montgomery, down to Katy, down to Sugar Land, Missouri City area. You're involved in those active severe thunderstorm warnings as well. It looks like they've just put up a new severe thunderstorm warning as well. That's the area now outlined in yellow here. Yep, that's a new severe thunderstorm warning. That includes the Livingston area, Lake Conroe area, Livingston area, Cleveland area, so northern portions of Liberty County into Polk and San Jacinto County, and that also includes Weldon up to Crockett. That's until 4 a.m. Severe thunderstorm warning. You've got winds gusting to 60 miles an hour there. You know, so that may not be tornadic, but you get a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. There's a tremendous amount of woods and trees up in here. And so anywhere from Kingwood to like Livingston to Corrigan, you know, you can easily get a couple of limbs snapped down. So be really careful. I would, you know, take the time if you can to move to an interior hallway in your home, interior closet. It's the safest place to be until this line of thunderstorms finally rumbles on through. So that severe thunderstorm warning, again, most of Liberty County included in that, all of 59 up to Corrigan included in that. That's in effect until 4 a.m. this morning. And then moving a little further west, you can see all the severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, all the yellow boxes for all the west side of the Houston area, from Montgomery to Spring to Katy to Sugar Land and Missouri City. And then what I'll do is let me just turn off the lightning so you can see this a little more clearly. And it's this thunderstorm, active storm coming across the north side of Harris County right now, Northwest Harris County, the red box. That's our active tornado warning. Again, that's in effect until 3:30 this morning, so that's in effect for at least the next 15 more minutes. We've got a possible rotation moving about due east at about 40 miles an hour, so that's crossing 249 right now. So everybody in Northwest Harris County, 249 from the Beltway up to 99, that area you need to take cover right now as it's racing east, but it won't be long as this is really racing east at about 40 miles an hour. So everybody from Spring to Aldine, that's going to race across your neighborhoods here in the next few minutes as well. And you've got a few minutes to take cover before it races into your neighborhood here. So again, we'll just pause it. Here's the leading edge. Say we'll pause it. Let's try that again. There we go. So here's your leading edge. So we're past 249. So now it's just heavy rain, Coralville and 249. So now neighborhoods from Spring, I-45, all the way down through the Aldine area, all the way down to Beltway 8. Get ready. At least wind gusts to 60 miles an hour moving west to east with this line of thunderstorms, and the possibility that there's a tornado involved in this as well. Again, it's a radar indicated rotation. The red outline box has us in a tornado warning here. Now North Harris County until 3:30 this morning. And again, let's just zoom in a little bit closer here. So the Bammel area, so what you've got here, neighborhoods west of I-45, north of Beltway 8. So here's Cypresswood Drive, Kirkendall Road here. You've got Ponderosa, Old Oaks, Westador, all these neighborhoods involved in this tornado warning until 3:30 in the morning. Those are the neighborhoods that it's going through right now. There's Spring Cypress Road, there's Louetta Road, there's Cypresswood Drive, Kirkendall coming up to the north and west side. All those neighborhoods right in there. Kirkendall across Cypress Creek, Spring Cypress, Louetta, Cypresswood Drive. So from Ponderosa, Old Oaks, Westador, up toward Meyer Park area, up into the Klein area, you're just on the edge of that active tornado warning. You need to take cover. Bottom floor of your house, in a closet, interior closet, in an interior hallway until that potentially tornadic thunderstorm races through. And they've gone ahead and left that up here. I want to turn on the velocity scan just one more time. Let's see if we can see anything that looks, yeah, that's possible. Right near the Klein area, that is, probably back that up just a little bit. Yeah, so what you're looking at here is where everything comes together right there. That's the radar site. That is the radar that the tower radar for Bush Intercontinental Airport. This is their radar site. We're able to tap into it and use its Doppler products because it's right here where we've got the potential rotation. And it looks like it may be picking up a little bit of rotation here right near the Klein area. So again, Klein out here toward Meyer Park, Spring Cypress, up Kirkendall Road to Spring Cypress. You need to take cover immediately and let that thunderstorm pass. It's racing to the east. Again, that's the radar site. That's the tower radar for Bush Intercontinental Airport, something that we're able to tap into and use in these situations. And then that's where we've got our potential tornadic thunderstorm right over the Klein area, moving east very quickly at about 40 miles an hour. The storm is racing to the east very, very quickly. So folks, in the path of this storm, okay, everybody, so here's our potential rotation. Spring Cypress and Louetta Road. There's Ella, Teller Boulevard. So here's I-45. So everybody near the Cypress Creek area, west of I-45, take cover, interior room of your home, away from windows as this possibly tornadic thunderstorm races across now what is north and northwest Harris County, really moving into more north Harris County than anything else. Again, let's go back to the radar and we'll show you everything in motion. First of all, severe thunderstorm watch is in effect basically until 7 o'clock, until all this finally passes through here. You can see the line of thunderstorms coming in from the west, a little closer view, and right now, yeah, the only active tornado warning is the one we've been talking about across the northern portion of Harris County from Cypress area to Aldine and Spring. And the other yellow areas all involved in a severe thunderstorm warning. So you could possibly see wind gusts 40 to 60 miles an hour, anywhere from Sugar Land to Missouri City, Houston area proper. This racing across Lake Conroe right now in the Conroe area, also racing across I-45. Here's Lake Houston. It's going to race across Lake Houston pretty quickly. Lake Livingston, you're also in the path of that line of thunderstorms. That's all racing east as part of this first of 2 rounds of storms we're going to get. This is round 1. We'll get a break during the day, then tomorrow evening and tomorrow night, it looks like when we're going to end up getting round 2. In fact, let's go ahead and let's take a look at the forecast. Let's take a look at future track as we move through the rest of the overnight. And this line of storms is really racing east. It's kind of outrunning what Future Track has. So by 5 a.m., Future Track has the line of storms about where it is right now. So it's about an hour and 40 minutes behind schedule. But the bottom line, between now and 6 o'clock, it's going to race to the Galveston coast. So heads up, folks in the Galveston Bay complex. As that line races across your area, you're going to see really strong winds go across the open waters of the bay. Same thing with the open waters of Lake Livingston and Lake Houston, so be very careful there. That races to the east by 6:30. We get a break during the day on Saturday. 3 o'clock Saturday still looks really nice. And then the atmosphere is going to recharge. We got a piece of energy coming in from the northwest. By 7:30 tomorrow evening, round 2 beginning to brew across the area. Here we are by 10 o'clock with basically another line of thunder showers coming across the area late tonight. That will be round 2 between 7 and 10 o'clock. It races off the coast after midnight, and after that is when things will finally begin to settle down. Once more, severe thunderstorm watch continues in effect across all of southeast Texas until 7 o'clock. Severe thunderstorm warnings, multiple severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect across southeast Texas. Radar is going to load here. There it is. All the yellow area, basically almost all of southeast Texas, including Houston, under a severe thunderstorm warning right now. And let's see, have they let the tornado watch? Nope, we still have our tornado warning in effect. They've shaved off a little bit of it, but this is where we have the spot of greatest concern. And we'll turn the lightning off and we'll freeze the radar. So right in here, north side of Harris County. So here's I-45, Cypress Wood Drive. You've got FM 1960 here. You've got Ponderosa, Old Oaks, Westador, all the big neighborhoods on I-45 into the area near Willowbrook Mall. So I'm trying to say Willowbrook Mall and Champions, you're also involved in this tornado warning as well. So a tremendous amount of folks here in neighborhoods along Cypress Wood Drive, up I-45, out toward the Willowbrook Mall area, Champions area, again, Ponderosa, Old Oaks, Westador, you guys are all right in the heart of that tornado warning. Take cover on the lowest floor of your home or business, away from windows. An interior hallway is a great place to be to take cover from this. Interior closet, interior bathroom with, if sometimes you have a small window or no windows, you want to get away from windows, get away from the exterior walls, because we know how many trees we have here, and quite often we'll get a funnel cloud out of these situations and it won't touch ground, but it comes close enough to hit the tops of the trees and lob off the top of a tree, and that can do damage if it falls on your house to the exterior wall, and that's why you want to move in and get more frame of your house around you to protect you. So again, that tornado warning in effect for northern Harris County until 3:30 this morning. So we got about another 10 minutes, 9 minutes to go on that. The yellow areas, everybody who is included in a yellow box, which includes all of Polk, San Jacinto, Walker County, Montgomery County, Harris County, Fort Bend County, northern Brazoria County, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. What we're seeing there are straight line winds gusting 40 to 60 miles an hour. So even though that may not be tornadic strength, it can bring down a pretty big tree limb, and that's what we're looking at as far as the greatest threat for the greatest number of people. Most of this is straight line wind, and you'll notice how, say that's bowing out, so that's becoming a bow echo as it races toward the Cleveland area and races toward the Lake Livingston area. So those bow echoes, those that are bent like that, just think of a bow and arrow, that bow gets bowed out like that. It indicates the potential for very strong straight line winds. 60-mile-an-hour gusts or above are possible in that line of thunderstorms. And we can zoom in on that, and let's just walk down the line. Everybody up here. So right now, Huntsville to New Waverly, this line is now racing across I-45. Oakhurst, Cold Spring, Shepherd, you guys are all in the path. It's getting real close to Lake Livingston. We can put that in motion just real quickly. You can see there it is coming in. So really it's just about 5-10 minutes away from reaching Oakhurst, Cold Spring, Onalaska, Goodrich, Livingston, and racing across the lake. You can expect winds gusting 40 to 60 across the Lake Livingston complex as that line of storms comes across your area. Here it is. It's now pushed across I-45, now racing toward the I-69 corridor. So Kingwood area, Humboldt to Roman Forest to Midline, then up to Cleveland, that's all racing. You could see wind gusting to 60 miles an hour. They're seeing that estimated by radar right now. Further down the line, now we're getting into Harris County. Again, the yellow areas, all of Harris County included in a severe thunderstorm warning. That means we're going to get wind gusts 40 to 60. And then within the red area, as we've been talking about in depth, in the Spring area now, Spring to Aldine, We're getting a tornado warning is in effect for possible rotation. It looks like it's all linear now, but it's still possible we could be seeing a rotation in there. So if you're in the Greens Point area, Bush Intercontinental Airport area, you can see Will Clayton Parkway right here. Here's 59, here's I-45 on the Hardy Toll Road. There's the leading edge of the line pushing into the Bush Intercontinental Airport area, and so that's where you want to take cover from a possible, a radar indicated rotation that could be a storm, the type that can produce a tornado. Further down the line, getting inside the Beltway, you know, Jersey Village to the Aldine area. So there's the Beltway 8 at I-45, Aldine Westfield Road, and then south the inside loop. So now we're getting the leading edge pushing inside the 610 loop. Looks like the Heights to Montrose, just seeing the leading edge of that. We can run that loop so you can see it in motion for you. Again, we'll back it up, and then there the storm's moving in from west to east. And that's going to produce some pretty gusty wind. I expect there are going to be at least some power outages with this as well, with a widespread line of storms like this with 40 to 60 mile per hour winds. Again, there's the 610 loop. There's Beltway 8. So here it is coming in from west to east, already through the Beltway 8 complex, now moving into the 610 loop. And you can expect straight line winds that could gust to 60 miles an hour as it moves through the heart of Houston and the downtown area. Further down the line, just reaching the leading edge now of this line of severe thunderstorms, just pushing into Sugarland now. Not showing any signs of rotation at the moment, but Sugarland, you know, you're just getting into those wind gusts that could hit 60 miles an hour as the line moves west to east very quickly. So in pretty short order, that line of storms is going to be entering Bel Air area and Meyerland area as it pulls out of Sugarland and Missouri City. So just heads up, you know, if you've got any loose items outside, get them in quickly so that wind doesn't blow them around. Again, we could see wind gusts to 60 miles an hour there. And then we'll head further down the leading edge of the line. Needville to New Gulf, you're right on the leading edge. You're getting that gusty wind to 60 miles an hour. New Gulf, Danziger, Damon, West Columbia, all in line for that line of storms moving in from west to east. Again, racing across the area at about 60 miles an hour. Let's put this in motion so you can see the way everything is moving. There it is, west to east storms. As a big complex of rain and thunder come across the area, giving us much needed rain. And again, this is round 1 of 2. This will push through early this morning. Lingering showers mid-morning. We're going to get a break, and then we'll get another round of rain coming in late this evening and tonight. More rain and thunder coming in, and I can just see the wind here in the Galleria area out the window really beginning to kick up. That was easily a gust to 50 or so as we just caught the leading edge of it here in the Galleria area. And that's what most of this is going to be, a quick burst of straight line winds, and then some lightning and thunder, and then after that things will settle down pretty quickly. But again, the area of most concern will be in Harris County, where we have an active tornado warning. That's going to be in effect for another 3 minutes, and we'll see if we keep that going or not. It's this thunderstorm complex right here, and if there is any rotation with this, it's right over I-45 and the Hardy Toll Road, right near the Bush Intercontinental Airport area, racing east at about 40 miles an hour. If you're in that area, take cover now. Make sure you're in an interior room of your home, away from windows. Lowest floor of your home or business, that's the safest place to be. You want to get away from exterior walls and get as much frame of the home or business around you. That'll keep you safe. You can see that's a live picture from our tower camera where it is absolutely blowing and dumping here in the Galleria area as we're just reaching the leading edge of that line of thunderstorms. In fact, we can show that to you. So yeah, here we are right on the leading edge. Okay, I can see it. That's enough to if you have a weaker limb, if you've got some weaker trees, if it finds a weak spot, you could have a pretty big tree limb come down. And I expect we're going to see quite a few in the way of power outages across the area by the time this is all said and done. Again, severe thunderstorm warning in effect for all of Harris County and the Houston area. That's in effect until 4 o'clock this morning. Tornadoes will be possible, but more likely than not, if you're going to see severe weather tonight, it will be a straight line gust of wind to 60 or maybe even a little bit above. So you can see Houston, Pasadena, Pearland all included in this current severe thunderstorm warning across the bulk of the immediate Houston area. I see we've got 1 more minute for our tornado warning, which again is in effect northern Harris County until 3:30, it being 3:29. We'll see if they keep it going. If we've got any type of tornadic activity, it's going to be here. Hardy Toll Road between Beltway and the 99 connector. It's racing east, so the east side of the Beltway, the east side of the toll road area, Cypresswood Drive on the east side, Bush Continental Airport, seeing heavy rain and thunder right now, and the possibility of a little rotation. And if they have any plane activity going on, I bet they've got a ground stop at Bush. This is the type of weather where they would definitely have a ground stop at Bush Continental Airport. Usually they don't have a whole lot going on there at 3:30 in the morning. So here we are at 3:30. For the moment, I don't see a reissue of the tornado warning. We'll see if they reissue it. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect. Again, you can see there's our line of storms. That's what's got you up early with us this morning. Anywhere from Huntsville to Cleveland to the Spring area, down through the Champions area, Jersey Village area, Memorial area, you're getting it now with heavy rain and thunder moving through and some gusty wind just about to reach downtown. Sugarland, there you are on the leading edge of this. Missouri City, it's almost to you, not quite, but you can expect some gusty wind and heavy rain here pretty quickly, as again, all of that is racing to the east at about 35 to 40 miles an hour. Put this in motion for you. So what you'll see here now, that's a loop over the past hour. There's the big picture. That's the loop over the past hour. That line has really moved. That's moved about 35 to 40 miles in the last hour. So we've got a ground speed on this of about 30 to 40 miles an hour. All the yellow boxes from Huntsville to Spring to Houston to Sugarland, all a severe thunderstorm warning. That's in effect, the one in Harris County in effect till 4 a.m. So for at least the next half hour as that races across the heart of the Houston area, gusty wind, heavy rain, brief heavy rain. It's moving quickly. The heavy rain doesn't last long, but when it comes down, it's pretty heavy here. We're seeing a little bit of activity, some individual discrete cells popping up ahead of the line, racing south to north. That's very common and to be expected with a line of storms like that coming in. Back behind it, this is all very light rain and drizzle, and that will linger for a little while through the early morning hours. They have not reissued the tornado warning. Good. Most likely that did not produce a tornado. I don't have any reports of any damage from that, but it's possible that it could have done some tree damage. And if you see the lights in here going down and coming back up, it looks like we're taking some lightning hits. I can see that the power has gone out on Westheimer out here at Chimney Rock. Power's out. So we've had some limb damage here, and we've had some power outage. We've had some power outages here in the Galleria area. Again, Chimney Rock at Westheimer. I'm looking out the window here. Power is out. So the wind has been enough to knock a limb into a transformer and knock it out here on the west side, and you can expect widespread power outages as this line races across the area. You know, it's been a couple of months since we've had any significant rain. I think it's been more than that since we've had a line of thunderstorms like this come through. So those limbs have had all summer long to grow. They've gotten bigger, and now we're getting this line of storms, and some of those new limbs are hitting power lines, and we're going to have quite a number of power outages across the area here before this is all said and done. So once again here, just to reset, we're here at 3:30 in the morning. A line of heavy thunderstorms coming across the heart of southeast Texas and the Houston area, Huntsville to Spring, Houston to Sugarland. The line, again, tornado warnings have all been allowed to expire. We're seeing widespread severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. We're getting winds gusting 40, 50, 60 miles an hour as the line of thunderstorms races across the heart of Houston and southeast Texas. You know, it doesn't last long, but it's strong enough to be knocking out power in a lot of spots, including here, Westheimer at Chimney Rock. I'm looking out the window right here out of headquarters here at Chimney Rock, and we've got a lot of darkness over Westheimer Road right now. Okay, thank you for that. So I'm just getting some instructions from my people here. Bear with me for just a moment as we watch the radar here. I'm going to get a fresh earpiece in. Line of thunderstorms coming across greater Houston and southeast Texas right now. This is what we have been advertising all week long, and instead of coming through during the daylight hours, the first round here is coming through in the wee hours of Saturday morning. I hope you're just able to stay in bed safely where you are. And I've got my earpiece in, guys. You can talk to me now as the line comes through. Earlier, we had a tornado warning for North and West Harris County. That has now been allowed to expire. So now it's just severe thunderstorm warnings, the yellow boxes there, which include basically all of the area: Huntsville, Livingston, Cleveland, Spring, Lake Conroe area. That's already raced across Lake Conroe. Downtown, it's just reaching across downtown Houston. So the Heights, the Montrose, the Galleria area, and the Memorial area, all getting heavy rain and thunder. Chris Ramirez is in early with us. Good morning, Chris. Good to see you. Up early, and we are going to ride this out here. It looks like we've got another good hour, and it looks like we may have just popped a new tornado warning up there near the Cleveland area.
Another tornado warning for northern portions of our area. This does now include Cleveland and portions of Livingston. We are seeing some damaging winds here. I'm sorry? Okay. We are seeing some damaging winds moving through the Houston area, but the National Weather Service did just issue another tornado warning for portions of, this does include Cleveland, northern Cleveland, portions of Trinity and Livingston, just south of there along the Highway 69 corridor. So we're also seeing some rotation with these storms, in addition to the 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts with the storms as they're moving through southeast Texas. There's also that severe thunderstorm warning that is now still in place for portions of Houston. I'm going to go ahead and take it further south here and see what we're looking at in terms of wind speeds. So as we look at the wind speeds right now, we are looking up to 65-mile-an-hour winds that we saw with these storms here across the Westheimer area. We did take a little bit of a data hit, so I think we're missing a little bit of data here, but just know that we did see it track to around 65-mile-an-hour, where you see more of those lighter colors just in the western loop. That was the 65-mile-an-hour wind speeds that were associated with these storms. And so looking right now they're still looking at some pretty significant wind. There you go. There's the data coming back. 65-mile-an-hour winds moving into western portions of the loop. This is the Uptown, the Galleria area. But let's go ahead and focus further north of what we're looking at in terms of that severe component. In terms of that, we are looking at some rotation that's now moving in closer in towards the city of Cleveland. This is where the rotation is, right here, just south of Security, just south of the Highway 105 corridor. And that is something significant. So if you are in Trinity or portions of Polk County, you want to keep that in mind, that this does now include Cleveland, as it's going to be racing towards your area within the next maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And so this is a new tornado warning that has been issued until 4 o'clock in the morning for our areas north of town. Moving off towards the north, this is racing maybe between 25-30 miles an hour. And so as you look at the timing of where this rotation is right now, we can expect this to make it into Fostoria at 3:44, North Cleveland at 3:47 in the morning, Northside Elementary School at 3:54, and then at 4:02, 3 haunts towards the northeast. This is for portions just around the Cleveland area as we look at that situation. But also we cannot keep an eye or ignore the fact that we're getting some damaging winds here across the Houston area as well. As we take a further look at what we're looking at in terms of wind speeds, we're looking at an area just north of Harris County, north of the Beltway. You're able to see where that rotation was, that the National Weather Service did allow that tornado warning to expire for northern Harris, but we're still seeing pretty significant winds that are currently in that location. This does include Spring, the Woodlands, maybe portions of the I-45 corridor. You're still looking at 51-mile-an-hour winds now moving closer towards downtown Houston. You're able to see on your screen the current tower cam. This is on top of our roof here in the Galleria area, and we did see some power hits with, there you go, look at that lightning there. As these storms continue to race into Houston, we're going to continue to see more power outages. Just keep in mind, of course, our chief meteorologist David Paul has always said it only takes up to 45 mile an hour winds to cause these power outages, and that's what we're seeing right now. The winds are exceeding that 45 mile an hour mark as they're now moving into downtown Houston. And so I'm going to go ahead and step off screen here so we can see a better look at what we're looking at in terms of wind and rain. We're now starting to see more of the heavier rainfall now moving into portions of downtown Houston. And so you have lots of lightning, you have lots of winds, a very high amount of wind speeds with this storm. And like David Paul was just saying, that we're seeing more of a bow echo signature as it's now moving into Harris County. And that's just really just showing us that this has some pretty gusty winds and damaging winds with it, as we very well could see more flare-ups of rotation with these storms as they're going to continue to move across the Houston area. So very loud storms right now. You probably are hearing it, or you're probably awake as these storms are moving through, especially if you are in West Houston. But the entire city is about to be encompassed by these storms as they're now moving into downtown. I'm going to go ahead and take that screen off towards looking up towards the west, towards downtown, seeing lots of significant lightning. This severe thunderstorm warning will be in effect at least for the next at least 30 minutes or so, but also we are tracking lots. Look at the number of lightning strikes, up to 215 lightning strikes with these storms. The positive strikes being 128. We're also looking at a tornado warning that's now in effect for portions of northeastern areas of our viewing area. This does include the city of Cleveland along the Highway 69 corridor. And so we are expecting that tornado warning to be in effect at least until 4 o'clock this morning. That's in the next 20 minutes, as the rotation is going to be just near the city of Cleveland. So if you are in Cleveland right now, you want to stay indoors, be in the centermost portion of your home, and do not really just be outside or try to look at what's going on outside. It is night, it is raining, and we are expecting this to have a rotation with it as these storms are now moving into the Cleveland area just to the south of Shepherd. So radar indicated tornado signature that's now moving. Has not been confirmed yet, but we're still waiting to hear back from the National Weather Service. You also have lots of lightning as we time this out at where that rotation is at. We are expecting to make it into Fostoria at 3:44, around 3:47 North Cleveland, and then around 3:58 Seaman, 4:06 Hightower, 4:10 in the morning Dixon High School, 4:11 in Shepherd, and then at 4:14 in the morning moving into the Dolan area. And so this is moving off towards the northeast, and this does include the Highway 59 corridor. And so if you are planning to travel in this location, just know that there is a tornado warning that stretches as far north as Shepherd and into the city of Cleveland south of there. So looking at the conditions right now, it's looking more likely that that rotation is right there near the city of the town of Fostoria, and you have lots of lightning. We are moving. This is going to be continuing. It's more of a northeasterly track as we head into the next maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and we are just continuing to track. This is the strongest part of the series of storms that are going to be sweeping through our area, and so these are pretty loud. You hear the thunder outside. You're also looking at the large swath of rain that's behind these storms, and this is very well could lead to some minor flooding in some locations. And this is the reason why we've issued that weather impact alert day 3 or more days ago, as this is now playing out across southeast Texas. So lots of lightning, lots of thunder. The city of Houston, all of Harris County under a severe thunderstorm warning. These storms have the capabilities of producing 65, maybe even, I believe it's between 60, 65 mile an hour wind gusts. That's somewhat damaging. That could cause power outages. We've seen some of those power flashes on our tower cam from looking looking from the Galleria area, we've taken a couple of power hits here at the KHOU 11 studios, but looking at that current conditions right now, we are expecting those conditions with these winds now moving into downtown, especially as that severe thunderstorm warning will be in place until 4 o'clock this morning. So 60-mile-an-hour winds, radar indicated rotation was associated with some storms that were north of Houston around the Spring area. They're seeing a little bit of a there's where that tornado warning was issued. That was close to the Bush Airport area. As we look at as it approached Lake Houston, seeing it weaker, but the National Weather Service has not issued any type of warning with that. We're just still continuing to watch this little area that's right here. We're still seeing 34, 47-mile-an-hour winds. That's not really too significant in terms of any type of tornadic rotation, but that is going to continue moving off into our northeastern areas. It's what's happening north of there. It's what's happening along just north of along the Highway 69 area, where you see that's now moving into the city of Cleveland. That's why the National Weather Service has issued the tornado warning that does now include Cleveland. You see that rotation where those lighter colors, you see a little bit of a dancing motion of the colors as it's now moving closer to the city of Cleveland. So if you are in Cleveland right now watching us, you want to be in the centermost portion of your home, definitely away from windows, and make sure that you are staying away from windows and just heed these warnings seriously, as this storm that's over Cleveland does have the possibility of producing a tornado across the area. So looking at the current times as we map this out, we are expecting this to make it into around 3:48 North Side School, 3:52 Seaman, 3:55 in the morning, 3 haunts, 4 a.m. at Hightower. By 4:04, it could make it into the Calvary Church area, 4:05 at Rayburn. And so this is going to be lasting at least for the next 15 minutes. And so that's where we're still remaining on air with you, so that we are tracking the strongest part of this storm as these heavy storms and strong storms are making it into our area. And again, this is all associated with that cold front that we've been talking about. But looking at that rotation right now, we're seeing more of the heavy. I don't know if we can actually plot the wind speeds that's happening right now over the city of Cleveland. We are expecting to see this is at 49, close to 54 miles an hour. That's pretty significant. Once we start looking at those wind speeds exceeding around 50 miles an hour, close to 60 mile an hour, that's where we have a little bit of concern in terms of possible damaging winds with these storms, especially with this tornado warned storm that's currently over the city of Cleveland. We still have lots of lightning that's happening over the city of Houston. We are seeing some heavy winds or some high winds across our area. As we look at the current wind speeds, if we zoom closer, or we could also zoom into the central portion of town as we look at where the heaviest rain is falling right now, we have lots of lightning with these storms. The severe thunderstorm warning is still going to remain in effect until 4 o'clock this morning. That's in about 12 minutes. I would imagine that they're going to extend this because these are not going to really lighten up all that much. I don't think we're seeing more of a weakening of those storms, especially if you are in Cypress or the Katy area. But the main bulk of the heavy rain, lightning, gusty winds is now moving into the central portions of the city of Houston, as we are seeing up to 114 lightning strikes. You're able to see that on the camera on your screen as we look towards over the Galleria area. This is actually facing downtown, and we are seeing that torrential rain as well as the possibility of this dangerous lightning and gusty winds. And so if you didn't secure your Halloween decorations, there's a good chance that they may end up down the street as we wake up in the morning hours if these storms have not woken you up yet. So if you're just now joining us, we have these heavy storms, heavy rain, large swath of rain and storms moving into Houston right now, and this is producing up to 65-mile-an-hour winds. It's creating some power outage issues. I'd imagine that we're going to get some power outage numbers here shortly as they come into the newsroom. We are also tracking a tornado warned area that's currently along the Highway 69 area in around the city of Cleveland. This is going to be in effect until 4 o'clock this morning. We have lots of lightning. We are tracking a little area of rotation that is now approaching the Highway 59 area, as the National Weather Service has issued that within the past few minutes. And so Shepherd, Cleveland, Highway 59, if you're heading up towards Livingston, you might just want to just stay put until the strongest part of these storms are out of our area. Looking at the current severe the winds, that's where we're seeing mostly in terms of maybe some possible maybe pea-sized hail with these storms, but the heaviest and highest winds are now moving through downtown Houston. We had a clocked at around 65 miles an hour here across the Westheimer area. It sounded like a train outside just about a few minutes ago. But right now that rotation is the highest wind is now over the city of Cleveland. The latest scan of the winds are showing 60-mile-an-hour winds over the city of Cleveland, and that's enough to cause some damage and cause a few of those limbs and those small trees to possibly be blown over or maybe across the roadway. But right now, this is moving over Cleveland, and this is going to be in effect at least until 4 o'clock this morning. So you want to hunker down and just stay indoors in the centermost portion of your home if you are in and around the Cleveland area. This also includes Shepherd, just north of there along Highway 59. If you are familiar with Doland off towards the northeast, that is also included in this tornado warning. Look at that. Wow, that is a power flash that you saw on your screen, and that's all thanks to these winds that are now 60 mile an hour. Did you see that? It was just past the Williams Tower that was showing that power flash. This is what we're talking about. The 60 mile an hour winds is really causing some power outage issues, and I only imagine that we could see more of those power outages start trickling in across the Houston area. Look at that. Wow. I don't know if we can take that camera. I'm going to go ahead and take that camera full screen as we look off towards the northeast. This is really just what we're looking at in terms of downtown Houston. This is actually over the Galleria area, my bad. But we are expecting this to face off towards the downtown area. We've had there, look at that. Wow. Wow. More of the heaviest winds are now moving into the downtown area currently right now. And so that's what we're looking at in terms of that. I'm going to go ahead and switch our camera right here to looking at what's happening downtown. You wouldn't have to do anything on your end. I'm talking to my director, but I'm just going to go ahead and switch right now of what's going on across downtown to see if we can get that camera. But you're able to see that power flash that was off into the distance that was currently past the Williams Tower, and that's really the reason why those 60-mile-an-hour winds are causing some issues, especially when it comes to the damage. I think that camera is down. Now, the heaviest winds are now moving into portions of downtown, and so I think we lost our downtown camera with that right now. But looking at the situation in terms of what's going on across the Med Center, we are expecting these conditions to continue trickling in, and the heaviest rain and storms are definitely going to continue to bring us some widespread power outages. This is now looking at the Med Center, and you're able to still see some of that heavy rain. We saw those power flashes that were in and around just looking towards downtown, and this is what we're looking at in terms of the radar. Radar is really showing just a very messy morning in terms of a very noisy morning. You keep seeing that. Let's go ahead and take that camera full screen if we can, the one that's currently pointing towards the Galleria area. If we can take that camera full screen, there we go. There's just a power line or a power flash that keeps happening just past the Williams Tower, and that is just really enough to cause that damage, as well as, look at that. Look at that. That's along, I believe that's facing towards Westheimer, towards the 610 loop. You see emergency vehicles that are now just kind of going towards that area, but we are expecting those conditions to continue be mostly just still hazardous as these storms are continuing to move in across the city of Houston. If we can go ahead and take the radar back, of course, we are expecting those storms to continue racing towards the east. We have that tornado warned area that's currently north of the Houston area. We had some rotation with that storm, as well as more so of the heavy rain and the gusty winds, the damaging winds that are now moving into the Houston area. And so looking at the conditions right now, we are expecting expecting that they just issued another severe thunderstorm warning that's now in place for does include Angleton, Bay City, Lake Jackson, portions of Brazoria County, and so these storms are racing in towards across the city as well. But that tornado warning still in place for Cleveland, as well as in and around the Shepherd area, as we're now looking at that that rotation with those 60-mile-an-hour winds. Looking like the rotation is just the south of the 59 area, and you're able to see that right there, where you see this little area right there moving towards Dallin. And so the National Weather Service is still continuing to keep that under a tornado warning at least until 4 o'clock this morning, as all of our city and the entire region of Southeast Texas is now enduring these gusty winds. And like David Paul was just saying, is that we haven't received these storms like this in quite some time. And this is kind of showing you that they are packing a punch, and we are seeing tornado warned storm areas with these storms as they're now moving in across our northeastern area, especially for portions of northeastern portions of Trinity and Polk counties. But looking at the rain right now and what we're looking at across the Houston area, we are looking at some power outages. We're seeing some power flashes, all thanks to the 60-mile-an-hour winds. Look at that lightning. That lightning is just impressive. I'd imagine that most folks are probably asleep right now, or trying to be asleep and not on the roadways. But as we look at the current situation, more of the bulk of these storms now moving through Houston, and we are starting to see some of those damaging winds now moving into downtown, as well as that dangerous lightning. And so the National Weather Service is going to keep that severe thunderstorm warning in place for Houston until 4 o'clock in the morning, and that is in about 5 minutes. I'd imagine that they're going to continue moving this severe warned area off towards the east, as the strongest part of those storms are just now racing towards Baytown and portions of Trinity and Galveston Bays. But we are expecting this to continue packing a punch at least for the next 30 minutes to an hour. So just stay off the roadway, stay away from those windows, as well as just continue to watch us and stay up to date with the latest weather forecast, especially if you're watching on KHOU 11+. You have just significant lightning with these storms, and lightning, cloud to ground lightning strikes with the storms. Like, you hear the thunder outside as those lightning strikes are continuously causing some issues across the area. So if you are watching us right now and you are up and awakened by these storms did have a tornado warned area for portions of northern Harris County that was in around the Spring area. That has expired, but now we're tracking another tornado warned area that is still in place for Cleveland until 4 o'clock this morning. And this does include portions of Highway 59 and in and around the San Jacinto and Liberty County areas. I believe this is actually San Jacinto and Polk County. And so the National Weather Service keeping that in place at least until 4 o'clock this morning. You have lots of lightning. You have more of the damaging winds with it as well. It's looking less right now, that we're seeing more of this weakening. The rotation is becoming a bit broader. And so I think that the National Weather Service is going to allow this tornado warning to expire at least in the next 3 to 4 minutes. I think we saw up to about 60-mile-an-hour winds with those storms that are in and around the city of Cleveland, but we are expecting those conditions to continue, bring us some heavy rain as well as some dangerous lightning. As we look at the rain accumulations that we've seen across our area, we've seen close to, I don't think we're looking at any flooding issues right now. I think it's still far too early. We haven't really seen these storms really stall out across the Houston area, so I believe that we've only seen close to 1 to 2 inches of rain, if that, 1.5 inches, close to, I think we're ranging between a half an inch to 1.5 inches of rainfall accumulations across the Houston area. So this is not causing any issues in terms of flooding. So that's good news with this. But of course, if we start getting up to the 2 to 3 inch range, that's when we usually start seeing issues across the area. But just to kind of sum this all up, as we head into the 4 o'clock hour, the National Weather Service is continuing to issue that severe thunderstorm warning for Houston, as well as portions of of just north of the Houston area for San Jacinto and Polk counties are continuing to track this area of rotation that we saw. I'm going to go ahead and loop this back here. That just moved over the city of Cleveland. I don't believe that we do have a confirmed tornado, if that, but we definitely saw the rotation on radar as it moved over Cleveland just around the 3:45 a.m. hour, and we're now starting to see this weakening, which is some good news. But the winds are still being estimated at around, I believe, 49 to 50 miles an hour. Just about a few minutes ago, we did see close to 60 miles an hour wind speeds in and around the Cleveland area, which really is just significant in terms of the type of rotation that's occurring. But we are expecting that to eventually show some signs of weakening, and so we may still continue to see these gusty winds as well as the heaviest amount of rainfall, especially as we head closer into the 4 a.m. hour. So definitely stay hunkered down and away from those windows in the centermost portion of your home, because we are still looking at these widespread showers and storms and heavy rain that is now moving into the Houston area currently right now. You're able to see this just large swath of rain. There's a lot of rain behind it as well. So it's when this rain starts moving in towards town. This is stretching as far west as the Austin area. And so it's when this rain moves into the Houston area, that's when we're going to have to start looking at that flooding potential with these storms. And like we've always said, if you have a lot of rain in a little amount of time, that's when we usually start seeing the conditions start with the roadways start becoming ponding, as well as the flooded roadways that we usually see when it rains pretty heavy here across the Houston area. We're about to hit the 4 a.m. hour in just about a minute, and it's going to be interesting to see if the National Weather Service is going to continue this tornado warned storm that's currently in and around the San Jacinto and Polk County area, especially for Shepherd and the Cleveland area. They are going to continue keeping this in place at least until 4 a.m., which is in about 1 minute. And we are expecting this. Once they allow this to expire, we're going to go ahead and go off air here and continue to track. We're going to say that again. On air till 4:30. Okay, we're going to continue to track these storms as they continue to move through as we head into the Houston area. But if you are just now joining us, we are tracking widespread heavy rain and storms, gusty winds. We had several power flashes with these storms that have been moving across the city. Of course, on the corner of your screen, you're looking at towards over the Galleria area. This is facing the Texas Medical Center. They haven't really seen much of the lightning in terms of power flashes in the Med Center, but we've seen quite significant power flashes from the Galleria area. We've taken a couple of power hits here at our station. Luckily, we've been on air since these storms have started, but just keep in mind that as these storms are going to continue to move through the area, we are going to continue to monitor the gusty winds as well as the power outages that are now about to trickle in. I can only imagine that we're looking at significant power outages with these storms as are now moving into the Houston area. I'm going to step off screen here so we can go ahead and look at what's happening on our radar with the rain that's currently falling across town. So facing the Texas Medical Center, as radar is showing, we are under a severe thunderstorm warning for Houston until 4:45 this morning. It's very well possible that these storms could spawn out some more areas of rotation as they're now moving into our eastern areas. So if you are watching from North Shore, maybe from Denver Harbor, as well as portions of I believe the Galena Park area, we are going to start seeing those gusty winds start moving in, and that really is going to cause some power outages like we've seen here on the west side of town. And so as we look at that situation, the National Weather Service keeping that severe thunderstorm warning in place until 4:45 this morning. And of course, we have to keep an eye on the possibility that we could see some rotation with those storms, additional areas of rotation. But for now, we're tracking that area of rotation that was currently in and around the Cleveland area. It looks like the National Weather Service has allowed that tornado warning to expire, and that is good news for Cleveland. But you're still looking at some heavy rain and some dangerous lightning, some gusty winds, as well as this stretching as far south into the Houston area. We're going to go ahead and look at wind speed right now in terms of what we're looking at in terms of potential damage. As we look at the situation, we're going to go ahead and clock it to now, and we're going to go ahead and pick just random areas across town. You're now seeing close to 67 mile an hour winds. These are estimated. Still looking at 60 mile an hour winds in and around the North Houston area. I believe that we're looking at also at as these winds continue to move through, we're still looking at some possible significant power outages. I think we did see some power outages off on our camera, but this is really just showing you the estimated wind speeds as these storms are moving through the Houston area. And so something to keep an eye on in terms of potential damage is be in the centermost portion of your home and away from those windows as we go into the next few minutes. And so looking at radar right now, we are expecting these storms to continue to have a threat for street flooding. It's the reason why we've issued this weather impact alert for today, as well as looking at the potential impacts that we could expect later on this afternoon. And so as we look at that situation, we are expecting those conditions to once again continue to bring us the potential for some possible road flooding, as well as some wind damage with the storms, as well as that low tornado risk. We've actually seen those tornado warned storms with these as they move through our area, but as we time this all out and look at the timeline for the rest of today of what we're expecting to see, we already have seen these storms approach our western counties. Now as we approach the 4 a.m. hour, like we've said, we've been showing you this graphic for the past 24 hours, and it's looking like that it's playing out and confirming that this is what's taking place here across town. Widespread storms across Houston. By 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., we are going to expect to see a break in that activity. And then by 4 to 11, we do have the chance for additional storms from Houston to the coast. And so just keep that in mind that we're going to have a big break in our day with probably less storm activity, maybe isolated storms, but then also between the hours of 4 to 11 p.m., we could see more of those additional storms start flaring up as we head into the overnight hours as this system continues to move through. Let's look at future track. The Storm Prediction Center had us under this slight risk, which is a rather elevated risk for severe weather, but as we look at our future track model, we are looking at that this potential for these storms to continue across our area as we head into the next few hours. So I'm going to go ahead and mess with this graphic here to show what's happening in terms of our day, but we are expecting those storms to continue to move through. At least by 6 a.m. we're going to start seeing that break take place here across town. And then as we get closer towards around the later hours, we will see a little bit of a break, isolated storms expected, but then another round of possible storms expected from maybe 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And that's going to be the case at least until 8:30 to 9. It's looking likely that this secondary round of storms is going to come a little bit earlier than what we've anticipated in terms of that additional round of storm activity between the 2:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. hour, eventually bringing those conditions once again. I think that these storms are going to be a bit weaker. I think our atmosphere is going to be already worked over by the storms that we're seeing right now. And so I don't think there's going to be much of a severe risk, but you cannot rule that out, especially as we head closer towards the 8 p.m. hour, that we could see some more of these downpours and storms across our area. So this is really just not over yet. It's just going to be a pretty messy day here across town as we track this cold front that is now moving into our area. Again, we're not going to see a significant drop in temperatures, but we are expecting that to continue at least through the 11 p.m. hour, eventually ending by the 2 a.m. hour into the early hours of Sunday. And so that's what we're looking at right now. So widespread power outages likely here across the Houston area, but as we look at the situation right now, we're continuing to track this severe thunderstorm warning that they did allow it to expire for portions of West Houston, but now we are expecting to see this continue to move through the area with still some dangerous lightning. You're able to still see that lightning that is on the corner of your screen. This is looking over the Galleria area and across downtown Houston, but we're also still looking at some heavy rain that's now taking place. More of the higher wind speeds are now moving into the eastern portions of Houston. So 60 mile an hour winds, that's enough to cause some minor damage to some structures, maybe some small trees, as well as those loose items that are around your yard. Those might be blown around, but we are expecting this dangerous lightning to be at play here too, as we've seen close to 200 to 300 lightning strikes within the past hour or so. So lots of rain, lots of lightning, pretty dangerous storms out there. Roadways are probably not the best place to be right now, so you want to probably hold off on that as we progress through the next few few hours. But as we look further out, this rain is just really not over yet. This is just kind of showing you what's still to come. All of this rain that you see to the west over Austin, San Antonio, that is heading our way. That is going to be bringing those additional rounds of storms here across Houston, at least until later on today. So it's going to be shaping up to be a pretty messy Saturday. And so one of those days just to stay indoors and not be out on those roadways, because it's when this area of rainfall, when that starts moving over to Houston, that's where we could start seeing that minor flood threat across our area. And you don't want to be stranded anywhere across town, especially if you are planning to go anywhere. So definitely take that into mind if you're watching right now, if you're waking up right now. It is currently 4:08 in the morning, and we are tracking storms as they're now moving through Houston. The National Weather Service issued severe thunderstorm warnings for Harris counties and for much of our area, and they're going to keep this in place for Houston until 4:45 this morning. That's in the next 45 minutes. That's pretty a significant amount of time, as these storms are not really moving all that fast. But as we look at that lightning potential, we have the dangerous lightning as well as the possibility for some gusty winds with these storms as they're now moving into our area. This is looking at the Texas Medical Center. We have seen mostly calmer conditions out in the Med Center. Not as much. Look at the lightning. That is just really the component here that is really just causing it to be pretty hazardous out there. We cannot really rule out the potential for that lightning to be a dangerous factor when it comes to the storm activity. So we're looking at currently the Med Center. You have the Galleria off in the corner, and we've seen several power flashes across uptown as we look in the past 30 minutes to an hour. So as we are also looking right now, there is a chance that we could see additional rounds of severe weather as this storm that's off just south of San Antonio is showing signs of it being severe as well. But the good news in all of this is that the National Weather Service has allowed that tornado warning to expire at least until for our area, for a lot of our area, but it cannot rule out the possibility that we could see additional rounds of these storms spawn off a few more areas of rotation. So if you're just now joining us, this is the reason why that we have issued that weather impact alert. It's looking, my clicker is having a little bit of issues, so I'm going to go ahead and step off screen here and control the computer manually. And so as we look at the situation right now, widespread 2 to 3 inches of rain expected Saturday by 3 a.m. to Sunday by 3 a.m. So we could really just expect this to last until 3 o'clock in the morning into the early hours of Sunday. The impact, like we're seeing right now, is the gusty winds and that possible street flooding, as well as the possibility for some damage to those smaller structures, especially those areas that do receive more of the higher wind speeds currently. But looking at the wind speeds right now, it's looking likely that the highest winds that are currently happening are now moving into portions of East Houston. I'm going to go ahead and look at what's happening here. It's in portions of East Houston now, looking at the close to 60-mile-an-hour winds, close to 54 miles an hour for portions of East Houston in and around the Baytown area. We haven't really seen the winds hit the Baytown area as of now, but just keep in mind if you are in Baytown, maybe if you are near Sylvan Beach, portions of Seabrook, League City, the Kemah area, you're going to start seeing the conditions outside deteriorate, as well as the conditions really just bring more of those higher wind speeds and the dangerous lightning and storms. Rain has looked like is weakening here across the Galleria area, but we are expecting to see those conditions once again continue to bring us some widespread storms for Houston as we progress through our day. So as well as we look at the radar right now, we are still looking at that rain that's still continuously moving through town, and we are expecting that to continue now in place for Galveston. So if you're watching from the Galveston area, we're now starting to see these storms approach you along the coast. And so as we look at the whole movement of these storms, they are now moving in from the west and moving towards the east, and we're now starting to see those downpours moving in across the Galveston area as we look at that situation for the coastal areas. So coastal areas likely to see more of the heavy rain and storms, but we are also expecting to see these gusty winds with the storms also play that role, probably causing some power outages across some of areas across town. And so looking right now, we are expecting the conditions to still continue to be just hazardous out there as these storms are still producing some pretty feisty winds. And looking at Galveston right now, you don't really see too much. You have a little bit of rain moving through. You have the lightning in the background. You have choppy conditions out in Galveston, but we're now starting to see more of the bulky storms now moving in towards the coast, and that is going to start affecting Galveston here shortly as we progress through the rest of our morning into around the 4:30, 5 o'clock hours. So as this frontal boundaries continue to move through, we are expecting that to continue bringing us some rainfall as well as the much needed rain that has been falling across Houston. But as we look at the current situation right now, we are still under that severe thunderstorm warning that has been in place for portions of southeast Texas, which does include Houston. That will be in place at least until 4:45 this morning. You have more of the heavy rain and storms and the lightning now approaching the Baytown area, Mont Belvieu, even Leak City, now starting to see some of those heavy rain and storms. And this is what's happening right now. You're able to see more of that bow echoing that's happening with the storm activity that we've been seeing. This was once over the west part of town. Now it's now moving off towards Baytown, Mont Belvieu, and this is where we're going to start seeing more of those higher wind speeds. And so as we look at the wind speeds, what we're looking at right now, I think areas along, if you are familiar with those streets, we are going to take it to the street level. Channelview, Link 5, Pasadena, even the Highlands, Barrett. Those are the areas that are receiving lots of lightning, dangerous lightning. Red Bluff Road, Genoa Red Bluff Road, even around Space Center Boulevard, you're seeing more of those dangerous the lightning, the heavy winds, the heavy rain. And so you want to be in the centermost portion of your home because we are seeing those winds gusting up to close to 60 miles an hour with these storms, especially out near Seabrook. This is 55-mile-an-hour wind speeds, but closer towards the LaPorte area, we're still looking at radar estimated 60-mile-an-hour winds across that portions of east of Houston. Even Channelview looking at 50-mile-an-hour winds. Those are not as strong as what we have saw about a few minutes ago, but we're also expecting this to continue tracking off towards the east. And right now, the eastern portions of town now looking at the highest wind speeds as well as the heaviest rainfall from these storms. And so just be in the centermost portion of your room, away from those windows. We haven't really looked at any hail parameters yet, and so we're going to take a visit to looking at any potential hail with the storms. I think if you are north of Friendswood, I think we're looking at possible pea-sized hail with the storms as they're now moving along I-45. So if you are near Dixie Farm Road, north of Friendswood, south of the Beltway, Alcott, maybe the portions of the Gulf Freeway, you're able to probably still see some of that, some pea-sized hail. But the good news in all of this is that we're not looking at any large damaging hail with these storms. I think that there's other areas across just south of Livingston that was seeing some small sized hail with it. You're able to see that right there just to the east of Lake Livingston. You had some hail signatures right there that's happening right now. I don't think that's enough to cause any damage to any cars or structures, but the good news is that we're not looking at that very large hail. You're able to see the color palette here. We have it looking a little blue. That indicates small hail. When these colors start looking very large, when you start seeing red colors, that really is just indicating that hail is pretty large, and we're not seeing that right now. That's the good news in all of this, is that the hail threat is very small right now, and we are seeing pea-sized hail, if any, with the storms as they're now moving through portions of the rural areas. But currently right now, as we look at the rainfall, the National Weather Service still keeping that severe thunderstorm warning in place for Houston until 4:45 this morning. We are expecting this to continue moving across southeast Texas, and we're not done with this quite yet. We still have lots of rain behind this initial band of storms that is behind it, which is now stretching as far to the west as the Austin area. That is where we really could start seeing this additional rainfall that's heading our way. That could really cause some minor flooding concerns, especially if our area does receive those 2 to 3 inches of rainfall and maybe in 1 hour, an hour and a half. But right now, as that band of storm, you're able to see that bow echo. That is really showing the gusty winds with this. Those are damaging winds that could cause some maybe minor damage to structures as they're now moving into the Galveston area, especially now moving closer towards the eastern portions of Houston. So keep that in mind as well, that we're not done yet. If you're joining us early this morning, just be aware that this is not over. We do have additional rounds of rain later on today, and we are expecting that to continue at least through I'd say we're going to see this at least lasting at least until the 5-6 o'clock hours. But as we take this across town, across the wider view, this is the initial band of storms that's happening right now. But as we get closer towards maybe we're going to have a much needed break from these as we go through the day. But starting around 12:30 is when we're going to start seeing those storms once again moving into the area. And we very well could see more rounds of strong storms as late as 8:30, lasting into the Houston area, at least between 9 and 10 o'clock in the evening. So definitely, it's going to be mostly an all-day event. There is going to be that small window that's going to be taking place between 10 and 3 p.m. that you could probably go out and do things. You're probably going to still run into some lingering showers, but just keep in mind that we will have, if you have any of those evening plans today, if you have maybe a late night dinner, or maybe you want to go to the bar scene here in Houston, we are expecting more rounds of storms, and you don't want to be caught in that, especially as we all know our roads become a bit hazardous when it comes to that possible minor flooding that we're expecting to see at least for the next few hours. And so looking at that, that's going to last at least until the 11 o'clock p.m. hour, but we cannot rule out some possible 3 to 4 inches of rainfall totals with this as we progress through the next few hours. And so right now, as we track the latest of what's happening across town, more of the heavier rain and the storms are now moving into the eastern portions of town. The National Weather Service is now keeping that severe thunderstorm warning in place for Houston. That's going to expire at 4:45 this morning, and we are expecting that to continue bringing us some torrential rain. We're now starting to see portions of West Houston now seeing some lighter rain, but more of the heavier downpours are occurring east of Houston, in the Humble area, even along 69, still looking at some of that heavy rainfall as it's now racing towards the Beaumont area. But 60-mile-an-hour winds still not out of the question. We've had quite significant power outages with this. I can only imagine that we have quite significant power outages. We haven't received any numbers as of now, but looking at the current situation, you're now seeing lots of lightning. It's probably a massive lightning show happening over the League City area right now. So the lightning, the gusty winds, as the heavy rain is just one of those times where just, stay indoors. Hopefully folks are sleeping through this if they could, but it's going to be one of those days here across our Saturday that is really going to bring us these rain chances that are just really not going to last, or they're going to last at least for the next few hours. And so looking over Galveston right now, that's the camera that you see on the corner of your screen. We are seeing those conditions over Galveston, starting to see more lightning in and around the Galveston area as we look at those conditions out there. But it's what's happening that's mostly over the Houston area that really just we saw more of those heavier wind speeds, those higher wind speeds rather, close to 60-mile-an-hour. But as we look right now, if you're watching us from the eastern portions of Harris County, you're able to see some of these gusts up to around 55, close to 56 miles an hour, maybe in the Mont Belvieu area, Baytown, close to 40 miles an hour. And of course, it's those 45 or more mile-an-hour winds that really do that's where we start seeing those power outages when the wind speeds get up to around 40, 45 miles an hour. And so I can only imagine that we are looking at that as we've seen some of those conditions close to mostly giving us between 60 to 65 miles an hour. I'm going to go ahead and look at those numbers right now. It's looking like that we have some power outages that are now moving in or being reported. This is really if I could have a director or somebody in my ear tell us exactly what those numbers are, but we are expecting those conditions to continue bringing us these widespread rain and storms that are now moving into our area and now racing out of Houston, and with the more of the heavier rain and the higher wind speeds now moving into the eastern portions of the Houston area currently right now. But looking right now, we're still looking at 48, 45 mile an hour wind speeds with those storms as they're now moving into the East Houston. We saw quite significant lightning strikes with the storm activity that it was racing into town, but radar right now is still showing a messy outlook, especially as far west as San Antonio and Austin. There's a severe thunderstorm warning just south of San Antonio. So this is just really kind of telling us of what's to come. So when we have these storms to the west of us that are still strong, that really is just giving us a sign that they may hold that strength as they make it into closer towards our area here across the city of Houston. So it's a large swath of rain now moving in across the I-10 corridor, as still stretching as far west as the Austin area. But of course, right now, we're still looking at that initial band of storms causing some issues for our eastern areas until at least 4:45. That's when the National Weather Service is going to keep that severe thunderstorm warning in place for the most part. And so it's looking likely that significant power outages now moving, trickling in across the Houston area, but looking right now, we are expecting those conditions to continue to bring us that heavy rain, and we did see a couple of those power flashes that were happening over the Galleria area with those gusty winds as they now moved into the downtown area. But that's looking at Galveston. We had some pretty choppy waves out there. You're able to see more of that lightning become a bit more widespread. We're now looking at still some lightning off into the distance. You're able to see downtown off in the distance. So you're able to see the visibility clearing here across town, which is some very good news for us. But just keep in mind that this is only one out of 2 rounds of storms that are expected to move through Houston for today. So conditions are improving a bit. We are still seeing some power here across the Galleria area. We had a couple of power flashes that were just beyond the Williams Tower there along Westheimer. And so just keep that in mind that definitely be cautious out there if you do find yourselves across town for today. But looking at the current conditions right now, we are looking at the current severe thunderstorm warning that's now in place for Houston until 4:45 this morning. We are expecting those conditions to continue bringing some heavy rain and storms at least until 4:45, and then it's this initial secondary boundary that's going to be arriving that is going to bring us more of those heavier storms off towards the west. Look at Galveston. You're able to see those conditions now starting to deteriorate across the Galveston area. And so as I look at radar and take it closer towards the Galveston area, you're able to see that severe thunderstorm warning now in place. Our camera is now facing, that's from the Hotel Galvez, and now you're starting to see those lightning strikes that are just off the coast of Galveston. That's those lightning strikes that you see on your screen, on the corner of your screen facing the Gulf. So looking at the choppy conditions, the conditions are now starting to become a bit more stormy across our coastal areas as that initial band of storms is now moving in. Now look at that lightning across Galveston. Now seeing those conditions with the significant lightning that is now we saw here in Houston, that is now happening across Galveston. You were able to see that on your screen and kind of just play out within the past few hours across the Galveston area. But as we take a further look off towards across Houston and what we're looking at, we are still tracking these storms as they're moving through portions of East Houston, and the National Weather Service is still keeping us under that severe thunderstorm warning at least until 4:45 this morning, and we're still seeing some quite significant amount of lightning with those storms as they're now moving in closer towards Liberty, even Baytown, League City, Angleton, Galveston. So you're seeing that swath of storms now moving off towards the east, and that is going to bring more of those gusty conditions. I can only imagine that Center Point is going to have their work cut out for them within the next few hours, because we've seen reports so close to 60-mile-an-hour winds with these storms, and that's enough to cause those power outages across southeast Texas. And so you're able to see those waves out there in Galveston just starting to get a little bit larger, and you're now starting to see that lightning become a bit more active across those area roadways. So keep that in mind as well, that if you are across southeast Texas, that we are expecting those conditions to still be a little bit hazardous in terms of the roadways across town, because we definitely have seen the widespread heavy rainfall with these storms as they now moved into the area. This is looking at one of the roadways. I believe that this is I-45. We still have some folks out there across town. Not seeing too much issues on the roadways. You still have lots of wet roadways across town, but not much folks, I could only imagine, for a Saturday morning, not really out right now, but you're probably been awoken from the storms that have been playing out across Houston within the past 45 or minutes to it, close to now close to 2 hours. So looking closer at the radar, we are expecting those conditions to bring us some of those heavier downpours across the eastern portions of town, and that is going to bring us more so of the dangerous lightning. I think for the most part that Houston is getting a little bit of a break from these heavy rain and storms that are now moving through the area. We still have some heavy rain and lightning across the Livingston area, and I believe that they're going to allow that severe thunderstorm warning to expire at 4:45. If not sooner, at least until these storms start moving in closer towards the Galveston area for this later on this morning. So current time is 4:28. If you are joining us, we are tracking these storms as they're moving through the southeast Texas, and we've saw quite a bit of lightning with it. We saw winds up to 60 miles an hour. The National Weather Service did issue a tornado warning for northern Harris. That was earlier this morning. That has now expired, and so I don't think we've had any confirmations of a tornado. I don't think that we saw any significant signatures on radar that confirm that a tornado did happen. Of course, it really depends on the National Weather Service. If they do find that evidence, I don't think that they will, but we are expecting those rainy conditions and those stormy conditions to still now moving in towards the coast, as you're now able to see more of that lightning strikes, as well as the rough conditions out on the sea in the Galveston area. And so east portions of town, Baytown, Mont Belvieu, even Bolivar Peninsula, now looking likely that we're going to see more of these heavy rain and storms. There is a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued by the National Weather Service. This is in place for Galveston, and this is going to be in effect until 5 o'clock this morning. And we're going to continue tracking this all throughout the morning. Again, this is our initial round of storms. We still have another round of storms possible later on today. We will get a window later on this morning, but just keep in mind that if you have those evening plans, you might want to reconsider, because we do have additional rounds of storms and it's not over yet. And of course, we are tracking the latest weather updates throughout the morning on KHOU.com, and you can always tune in to our live streaming weather forecast on KHOU 11+. Again, I'm meteorologist Christian Ramirez with your weather update, and these storms are now moving and out of the Houston area. But again, like I said, we still have additional storms possible later on today. So have a good and safe rest of your morning.
Things that I'd given up that I thought I'd never do again, I can do them now.
The pain in the small